Hello everyone, my name is Priya Singh Range. I am an assistant professor at the LJ Institute of Physiotherapy. The topic for the day is disability presentation and rehabilitation. Today we'll be going through what are the different types of disability presentations, what are the various factors that influence the nature of disability, and the disability rehabilitation services in developing nations. Now, beginning with what are the different types of disability presentations. Disability may present itself as congenital, developmental, traumatic, or it may be associated with certain long-standing pathologies. When we say that the disorder or the disability is congenital, we mean that the disability is present since birth and it is not something that has developed or the person has gained it during the rest of his life. The disability here is present since birth. It can affect certain areas like behavior, vision, hearing, cognition, mobility, etc. Congenital disabilities can be related to disorders that may be because of defects in a single gene. Example, Duchenne's muscular dystrophy that occurs due to defects on the DMD gene. It may be related to pathologies related to defects on single chromosomes. For example, Down syndrome, where the defect is present on chromosome 21. Or it may be related to the exposure of the mother during the pregnancy period to certain infections like rubella or toxic substances like alcohol, drugs, etc. In developmental disabilities, the disability is not present at birth, but it may be noticed during the developmental period of the child. For example, the disabilities that are seen in autism spectrum disorders or ADHD. With traumatic disabilities, the disabilities occur secondary to some kind of trauma like traumatic brain injury or spinal cord injuries. When the disability is associated with a long-standing pathology, it usually occurs secondary to certain chronic non-communicable diseases like diabetes, hypertension, etc. If we look at diabetes, say for example, diabetes can lead to various disabilities due to complications like diabetic neuropathy, diabetic retinopathy, or even limb loss that can be seen secondary to gangrene. Disability may also present as static disability, intermittent disability, or progressive disability. Static disability is seen in disorders such as amputation, where the disability is static because of the limb loss. Intermittent kind of disability is seen in pathologies like multiple sclerosis, where you have relapsing and remitting stages. And progressive kind of disability is usually seen in pathologies similar to muscular dystrophy. So this was all about the various types of presentations that is seen with disability. Moving on to the factors that influence the nature of disability, there can be several factors depending on the country which we are talking about, which may influence the nature of disability. The first and foremost being the socio-economic development of the country. Now, when we talk about socio-economic development, why does it matter so much? Because when we see the world as a whole, we have some nations that we categorize as developed nations, and then again we have some countries that we categorize as developing nations. Both of these kind of nations have different kind of social development, economic development. In developed nations, we see there is a larger amount of social development among the people, the economic growth is better, whereas when we talk about developing nations, the economic development is poor, the social development is poor. Hence, these two kinds of nations have very different presentations that can be seen in disability. For example, when we talk about developing nations, these kind of nations face problems like malnutrition, which can lead to several disabilities, whereas when we talk about developed nations, the major problems are obesity related, or it may be because of the sedentary lifestyle. So when we look at both the nations, they have two very different and very opposing kind of disabilities. The second factor is the climate. How does climate influence the nature of disability? For example, if we talk about regions that are more hot, the main problems or the main disabilities that occur can be secondary to pathologies like heat burns, heat strokes, dehydration, etc. Similarly, when we talk about certain countries where the climate is cold, the major disabilities can be secondary to pathologies like frostbite. Whereas when we talk about certain nations where there is heavy rainfall, the disabilities can be related to other pathologies like dengue, malaria, etc. Hence, this way, climate also influences the nature of disability that is seen in certain nations. The next factor is population distribution. Here, when we talk about distribution, the population distribution can be dense or it can be a lighter amount of population density. So when we talk about communicable diseases, the spread of communicable diseases is more in countries which have a more dense population distribution, whereas in those which have a lighter distribution, the communicable diseases do not spread so easily. That is how population distribution also affects the nature of disability. The next factor that affects is the availability of food and water. As we know, nutrition is a basic human need for everyone. So when there is no water or food available, ultimately the person is going to be dehydrated, the person is going to be malnourished, again leading to certain disabilities, and the person becoming more prone to certain impairments and disabilities. Certain socio-cultural systems also impact the nature of disability. We have seen certain areas or certain regions which are more culturally bound or to follow their traditions, hence sometimes inhibiting the level of healthcare services that are being provided there. So these are the different factors that influence the nature of disability: the level of the country's socio-economic development, the climate of the country, the population distribution of the country, the availability of food and water, and the different social and cultural systems that are prevalent in the country. Next, moving on to the rehabilitation services that are present in developing countries. These rehabilitation services firstly and most primarily need to focus on the identification of the disability problem. When we talk about developing nations, there is a lack of awareness and understanding regarding the nature of the disability, the extent of disability, and the causes of these different kinds of disabilities, hence impacting the disability on socio-economic situation of the population, and the population does not even realize how disability is going to impact their socio-economic situation. This ultimately leads to certain prejudice, misbelief, and fears among the general population, and again in turn it influences the attitudes and the actions of the local community and the government. All these problems ultimately lead to a lesser social integration of the people with disabilities among the general population. Hence, the first and foremost step that needs to be taken in any rehabilitation service is to identify these problems, to create more awareness among the general population, so that the population realizes that they need to identify these disabilities among themselves. They need to identify the causes of these disabilities among themselves, and they need to take measures in order to reduce these causes so that the rate of disability reduces, and also they can integrate the persons with disabilities among their own community. The next step that needs to be taken is policy making and planning. There should be inclusion of disability prevention and rehabilitation services into primary healthcare services so that there can be wider coverage and better services can be provided to the general population. There should be promotion of coordinated planning and programming of various healthcare services. Next, there should be development of rehabilitation services. Here the main focus should be in the development of more institutions that provide rehabilitation services, since the basic problem in developing countries is a lack of these institutions, a lesser number of such institutions that provide rehabilitation. Also, only the government cannot face the burden of the development of such institutions. Hence, there should also be establishment of certain non-government organizations for wider coverage among the general population and better effectiveness of such programs. There should be an improved coordination between the various components of rehabilitation services. There should be appropriate distribution of educational, vocational and health services among the needy, since many a times these resources are given to people who actually do not need them, and thereby there is a scarcity of these resources among the people who need them. And there should be development of good quality infrastructure. To summarize it all, disability may present in various manners. It can be congenital, developmental, traumatic, or associated with chronic pathologies. It can be static, progressive, or intermittent. There may be several factors that influence the nature of disability, and these factors should be given due consideration while planning rehabilitation services. Rehabilitation services should focus on creating awareness about disability among the general population, policy making and planning of various rehabilitation services, and the development of these rehabilitation services. So that is the end of disability presentation and rehabilitation services. I hope I was able to make you understand this in very simple language and very simple terms. Thank you.